Hello Stampers, welcome to my channel. My name is Lori Staley, Addicted Stamper, and I'm a United States Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Thank you so much for stopping by today, whether you're returning to my channel for another Make It Monday or you're brand new. I'm so happy we're going to have a few minutes to stamp together today. Before we get started on the project, I do want to share with you one other project. This is my class to go this month. As you can see, it's all about the beach. And we're using that fabulous bundle, Friends Are Like Seashells, along with a few other accent items. This is a to-go class, and in the class you will receive a full pack of Sand and Sea paper, a full pack of the pearlescent paper, and a full pack of the opal embellishments, which I've scattered throughout on some of the blocks. All of the base pieces will be cut for you, so the little squares and the rectangle for the blocks will be cut. You will have PDF instructions that will tell you how to cut the layers of designer series paper, and then I will also do all of the die cutting for you. I can't do the stamped images because that would take me out of compliance with Stampin' Up's policies, but anything like the coral and just the embossed and die cut shells will be done. So you will need the Friends Are Like Seashell bundle, as well as potentially the embossing folder because of that pearlescent paper. I could do that for you, and we can chat about that after you sign up for the class. The punch out will be done. You'll just need to add the greeting. So the colors I used are Crumb Cake and Night of Navy. As far as your inks go, the beach will be die cut for you. The word beach will be die cut for you, so you won't have to worry about that. So it's $30 for the class. I'll drop a registration link beneath this video. Registration does end today, which is Monday the 14th of June. So make sure if you're interested in that, you get that registration completed so that I know. And I will get the supplies ordered and hopefully get that out to you as quickly as I can. All right. I think that's everything I wanted to share before we start today's project. And I love this project because I am using the iconic dies that are in the annual catalog. And if you've not seen these cute little mushrooms and the ferns and even the branch, right, you definitely need to check that out. You're going to find that back in the section in the back of the catalog with all of the dies. Again, they're called iconic dies. They are not paired with a stamp set. We have a few different die sets this year that are not paired with stamp sets, and somehow I think maybe they're getting missed. So let me show you what all you get. First of all, it's a great size die set, right? But we get the fern and the branch and the little mushrooms that I've used on here. We also get a bumblebee, we get a couple flowers, a bird, a couple of leaves, and then these other cute smaller flowers. So it is a great set, and you definitely want to check that out. As I said, it's going to be found in the back of the catalog in the section where all of the dies are listed, the individual dies, because again, this is not part of a bundle. It does not want to cooperate with me, does it, to put it back in the packaging. So I think we'll just leave that out for now. All right, so I do think this is such a cute card. I feel like it's really whimsical with those little mushrooms in the red and white. And then do you see the birch tree over here? I did that with the dry brush background stamp, right? I simply stamped it on a piece of basic white with Smoky Slate, and then I just drew it to look like a tree trunk, which I could then extend the branch from the iconic dies through. The other set that we are using for the Happy Birthday is from Shaded Summer. And that is also a really nice stamp set. Lots of great greetings in there. Okay, so let me get started with this project. So I did go ahead and do the stamping for our birch tree. And all I'm going to do, and I don't know about you, but sometimes I find it easier to cut my line if I draw pencil mark on there. So I just have a mechanical pencil. This is a twist erase. It comes with a really great white adhesive, not adhesive, a white eraser on the end. And I think I'm going to start at the bottom and just draw my line. And if I don't cut that the line comes off, it'll be all right because that eraser will take it right off for me. So then, and I know that seems pretty simple, and why did I need to cut? It just gives me a guideline. right? Sometimes if I don't have those guide rails on the road, right, you go off the road. So this allows me, or gives me that little bit of extra protection to get that cut the way I want it to be cut. And then, as I said, this white eraser is great because it just removes every single thing. Okay, so that's going to go up the side of our panel. And I did use Crumb Cake for that. And of course, my card base is Evening Evergreen. And normally I score that, but it doesn't look like I did this one. So let me grab my bone folder. Give that a nice crisp score line. And then we're really going to be working on this piece to build our scene. That we can put on there with our seal. And I'm going to leave it, well, you know what, I'm going to wait and hold that until we do our branch. So from the iconic dies, I cut 2 of the branch die. One I cut from the scrap that I had left over, so that I got some of the gray marks on there to mimic the birch. And then one I just cut from Old Olive. That one's going to stay intact, and this one, we're going to remove all of the leaves. Just snip it off right at the top, or on the side, depending on the orientation of the leaf on the branch. And our paper snips are great for that because they're sharp right down to the point of the scissors, the tip. And sometimes that's not true for all. So we have all those little pieces, which my vacuum will love to get later. And then I'm just going to layer this on top so that those branches line up and we have the green leaves coming through. Now to do that, I don't know if you guys know that we have this amazing product called adhesive sheets. I can never remember to use them. This is a great project to use your adhesive sheets on. Be smarter than me, have a better memory than me, whatever you want to call it. I used to have this problem years ago. When I first became a demonstrator, I could never remember to use the embossing buddy, right? When we were going to do heat embossing. It took me years to remember to use that. Well, now that's retired. And now I'm trying to remember to use. So this, I've just put a puddle of Tombow Liquid Glue down, and I'm using a piece of sponge. I know these are retired. Hopefully you have some of those in your crafty stash. If not, I'm sure you can find them, even at the Dollar Tree maybe, right? Except that now the branches are wanting to move all around on me. And I just see that I missed a little leaf, so let's take care of him before we mount this. There we go. Make sure we're all lined up, and we are. And we have that piece done. And then we'll do the same thing to mount that on our card front. I'm going to lay that over here because guess what? We're going to need that for our leaves. So actually, let's go ahead and put some pieces together a while. Get our seal started. I want to make sure I have everything lined up the way I want it before I tack it down. So see, this needs to come down, not to go up. Sometimes I design in advance and then I have to remember how I put that together. Now, again, before I put that down or seal that down, I need to create my little sign. So that's where the Shaded Summer stamp set comes in. We are going to use Poppy Parade ink, is the red on this card. And I just freehand cut these little pieces. I didn't use any, like the stitch rectangles or anything, because I just didn't have one that was exactly the size I wanted. So we're going to stamp that down. And then we're going to mount that to this piece of Poppy Parade cardstock. Got that a little too far. Let's pull that up and do that again. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in a foam pad and our point end for our Take Your Pick tool, which is perfect for this. Push that down, create myself a nice size hole so that I can run some of the baker's twine from the Essential Pack. So in this pack you get 5 different baker twine. Obviously we have basic black and basic white, very vanilla, Crumb Cake, and Sahara Sand are in here. And of course I'm going to use the Crumb Cake twine. And it is one of the thicker ones in the kit. And then I'm going to actually thread this through the back. Which, you know what, you don't need to sit here and watch me do this, right? It does go through there, and actually, let me do this with that so that I can open that up just a little bit more, right? And if your end is fraying, you know that's going to give you a challenge as well. So you can either trim that off, or we can do what we can't do in the grocery store, right? You can lick your fingers and make it tinier. Whatever you want to do there to get that through. I'm going to open that up with my scissors, I think. There we go. Of course, it always happens when you're on camera, right? All right, well, you know what? I knew this would happen. So a Girl Scout always comes prepared, just like a Boy Scout. So it will feed through there, maybe when your hands are a little better than mine. And then I just tied a couple knots so that it will hang, right? So then we are going to, I'll save that one. I'll make another one of these cards because I do think this card is so cute. I hope you guys like it as well. We are going to slide that over our branch before we tack everything down. So now I can come in here and I can put my adhesive on the tree trunk. And of course I'm going to go over that branch so it stays in place. And we're actually even going to add a little bit of Tombow on this, not much. Doesn't need a lot, it's not a heavy piece. One of my issues with Tombow is it sometimes unexpectedly just gives you a whole bunch, right? So we're going to take care of that, and we're going to mount this onto our card front. Line that right up with your crumb cake edge, and then make sure you have your sign hanging where you want it. So I'm making this look a lot harder than it is. I injured my hand, my right hand, a little while back, and still don't have all the feeling back in my fingertips. So that's making this a little bit more challenging than it should be as well. So I apologize for that. Okay, we are going to actually pop some dimensionals under our sign. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, and we're going to put that right about there. Now we're going to add our ferns. So I have already pre-cut. We have 3 ferns in the old olive and 2 in the evening evergreen. And I have an extra one just in case. All right, so same little trick. We're going to take the back of the fern, take our sponge tip again, and we're going to dab ink on the back of that. Ink. No, we're not going to dab ink. We're going to dab Tombow Liquid Glue. We'll start with this one right here. And then I'm going to grab some more Tombow. Do make sure that you've got your back facing up because there is some really nice embossed detail in the ferns as well. And this guy we're going to slide here. And I think my tree branch and my sign came down a little bit lower on this one. That's okay. I think it'll actually be cute if some of those ferns are coming up over the sign a little bit. What do you think? Like maybe that little guy right there. And then we're going to put in another evening evergreen and then one more. So if you have not perused that die set or that die section in the annual catalog, make sure you do, because there are really some very nice dies that kind of stand alone back there, right? All right, last one. And this one's going to come in and just go right there. Okay, so we have all the ferns done, and that is the end of the Tombow Liquid Glue. We are simply going to work on our mushrooms now, and again, I did go ahead and die cut those in advance. So I did 2 in the Poppy Parade and 2 in the basic white. We are going to trim off, we're going to trim off the base and just get the mushroom cap, if you will. There is an embossed line here that I can see, so I'm trying to stay true to that. That's one. And then this guy just gets trimmed off right even at the stem. Okay. And I said it was the end, and I was wrong. I do need a little bit more Tombow. You could also use the fine tip glue if you are a fan of that. You prefer that over the Tombow. We're going to line that up. And do the same thing with the large one. But these are so cute. Really very cute. I did a virtual catalog launch on my Facebook business page Sunday night, which, yes, I know the catalog's been out for a month, but I just couldn't get it in before that. So we made another card with this project, and we also used the Quiet Meadow dies. So if you want to see that, you can go to my Facebook page. That's Lori Staley, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and look for last Sunday night, which was, what was that date? Well, if today's the 14th, that would have made that the 6th, right? So here's what we're going to do to fill in those little openings on the mushroom, because we want a solid white back there. So I'm just going to use a little bit of Tombow again. And I'm being brave doing it right on my card front, but I think it'll show up better for you than on the grid paper. And I just put this so that it's not showing through that hole that's been cut out of the underbelly, if you will, of the mushroom. And then I just followed it. I angled my scissors. As you can see, I'm holding my scissors down, almost laying on its side to the right, because that way I'm cutting just slightly in, not far enough in that I'm going to ruin and come in through the holes, but far enough in that I'm not going to have an edge showing of the white that I'm laying in underneath. So, and then we'll do the same thing with this little guy. Keep that right there. Him I went a little too far in, but that's okay. No one will ever know that but you and me, right? Just be careful when you come around the bottom that you don't snip off the stem by accident. So there's our mushrooms. Now we're ready to put this all together. So I'm going to go ahead and mount the card front. And again, that base is Evening Evergreen. I love the little branch with the little leaves coming out. This I did put on with dimensionals. The little guy I did not. So we're going to just throw a little Tombow on him. And again, you could probably use seal on the back of the mushroom since we put that solid base on there. And I want to see. One of the larger die cuts or dimensionals will fit down there on the stem as well. The only problem with that Tombow is it does get on your fingers. And then he's going to sit right there. And there you go. There is that cute little card done with the iconic dies. We used both the ferns as well as the mushrooms on our project. And that guy got to be straightened out. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, I would love for you to subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified when another project is loaded. And have a great rest of your week. If you are in need of a US demonstrator, I'd love to help you on your stampin' journey. My website is addictedstamper.stampinup.net. Here's my June hostess code. Everybody with a minimum $35 product order is entered into a drawing for product at the end of the month, a free embellishment. And you also can earn some free card kits with a minimum $25 product order. So, love to help you if you're in the need of if you're in the need of a Stampin' Up demonstrator. But again, have a great week. I hope you enjoyed the project, and don't forget if you're interested in the beach class to make sure you register today. Thanks everybody. Take care. See you next Monday for another Make It Monday.